Hello, my name is Audrey Randall. I'm the president of Paradigm Franchise Group, and today I'm going to interview Iain Macfarlane. Iain is a franchisee with Action Coach. Action Coach is the world's #1 business and executive coaching firm with 1,200 locations throughout 64 different countries. They've been in operation since 1993. Business coaching is a $1 billion industry. Action Coach has named Iain as Coach of the Year and has bestowed upon him numerous awards and recognitions, including Best Client Retention. He's the 9th inductee into the Action Coach's Global Hall of Fame and was a 2012 inaugural recipient of 7/70 recognition here in Madison, Wisconsin. In addition to his many successes with Action Coach, Iain has written an Amazon #1 bestseller called The Power of I Am, So I Can, and he's also an accomplished radio host. So thank you for being here, Iain.
Well, thank you, Audrey. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Good. So let's get into the questions. What was going on in your life at the time that you decided to become a franchisee with Action Coach?
It was towards the end of 2003. I was CEO of a company and had a son, one of my sons and his wife, an 18-month-old grandson, moved to Madison for 4 years to do his residency at UW Hospital. So I took a Christmas decision, get out of the corporate world, find something to do which allows me to spend as much time as I chose to work with, to be around my family over at least the next 4 years. So I started doing some research in January of 2004 into business consulting. However, I came across this concept called business coaching. I didn't know what it was. So I did some research and I decided on that it was more aligned to what I wanted to do because I've been much more of a mentor style CEO than dictatorial. And the business coaching would allow me to have a mentor role with others who were CEOs or business owners. So I felt it was much more aligned to do that. So that's the reason why I decided to pursue investigating business coaching.
Okay, excellent. What other alternatives were you looking at the time?
Really, it was just a business consulting. I wasn't
Okay.
looking for an employment position whatsoever because it was my time was where my value had to be, to have my own time, controlling my own destiny.
Okay. It's important when one starts thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or investing in a franchise to really examine themselves and understand their lifestyle and their business as well as their financial goals. Mm-hmm. Had you done that as you looked at getting into?
Yeah, I did that because the franchising added a lot of value for me. Mm-hmm. One, I've been a CEO for many, many years. I knew that to be a coach, a mentor, I had to learn how to do that rather than be a CEO style. So I found that the franchise offered that in the sense of 10-day training, how to be a coach with Action. It also allowed me to mix with other coaches. Action provided my own coach. So I had my own coach to help me through this, and it also allowed me to sort of say, how does it fit my personality? And my mother was a teacher, so I always had this sort of teaching mindset, and this was a way of moving into that area. And importantly, I knew that I could spend time with my family. I did have to do one thing though. I had to make sure that I had enough money to launch, to get the business off the ground. And so I took a decision to have enough money for 12 months without any income to be able to spend the time doing this.
Wow. And that's an important aspect of considering going into business, is understanding what your own personal asset and balance sheet is, and understanding when and where and how much money you're going to have in the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, and so forth. So
I'll also say that for a new business, whether it be a franchise or anything else, any new business, always know that it will cost you twice as much and take you twice as long as what you anticipate.
Good advice. Yep. Absolutely. So looking back and then also thinking about the middle of your career with Action Coach and where you're at today, has the opportunity met your expectations relative to the lifestyle, the business, and the financial goals?
Yeah, absolutely, in every respect. And one of my goals was to retain my clients. I wanted to keep them so I could lessen the amount of prospecting, spend more time working with existing clients. So I really set that as a goal. And my average client retention now is about 9.5 years. So that was a key goal, and that's what I'd say has been maybe the greatest success by being able to do that. Same time, I've become very close friends and family friends with my clients as well, and that's just personal satisfaction.
Sure, that's very fulfilling to find that you've established friendships, long-term friendships, and you get to experience their family growing as well.
In fact, some out-of-state ones, I stay in their homes.
Oh, nice.
Right.
There's the benefit.
Yep.
Definitely. So anytime you get into business, if you don't have the right people around supporting your decision, it could become very difficult. Did you have the support of your advisors and your family and friends around you?
Yeah, most people knew that if I was going to do something, I was going to be disciplined, I was going to work hard at it, and I would, I'd make a success of it. But importantly, I did have my own coach for the first couple of years to coach me on being a coach, and that was one of the benefits I got from going to the Action 10-day training, was how to be a coach. I knew how to be a CEO, I knew content, but I had to change my style of working with others where I was mentoring and not making their decisions.
Excellent. So making that final decision, that final leap of faith, many people implore different strategies, like the T, the strengths and the weaknesses. Some people it's just a gut feeling. How did you go about making that final decision?
I think I've always been very disciplined. I've been disciplined about planning my life, planning the companies I worked with. I'd have to say I've planned friends as well. I've always been disciplined to say, there will be some unexpected, obviously, but I've always tried to plan so that I'm doing things that I can say, look, over the next 2 to 3 years, this is what I want to accomplish. So I've always set out knowing what my vision and strategy would be going forward over the next few years. I always knew where I had to be at the end of the year, and that was my budget. I also then broke that down. Where do I have to be at the end of 90 days to be on track for a year? Then I said, so where do I have to be at the end of a month? Where do I have to be at the end of a week? And what have I got to do tomorrow to be on that track? So I've been very disciplined in knowing where I wanted to get to and how things fitted into the life plan that I had.
Okay, so because you were so diligent in your exploring of the opportunity, and that you statistically gathered all of the information, when it came time to make that business decision, that go, no go, it was an obvious, I'm just going, because
Almost.
you knew.
There was one last step. I thought that was going to be the answer, but my wife joined me. We went to meet with the master licensee and his wife in Minneapolis, had dinner with them, spent the next day with them, and we came home and mutually made the decision that this was right. I knew it was the right business for me, the right opportunity, and we felt very comfortable with the way action had been explained through the master licensee and his wife.
Excellent. So I think you've answered this already, so if you don't want to keep going with it, what have you done to be so successful?
I do, as you say. I think it is the discipline. I have my own business model that I created in running businesses. I've applied it to my own business, and it really does break it down to being disciplined, working hard. That first year as a coach, I would go to 5 networking events per week. My goal was to end up with 10 business cards of people I didn't know. That's 50 new people per week, every single week. I did free workshops for the newspaper, for banks, for chambers. So that first year, I was committed to working real hard, but it was here in Madison, and my kids were here, and that, so I was still able to balance it, but I did put in a hard year in that first year.
Excellent. And I think that's great advice to give to people, because I think sometimes people think when you start off with business, starting your own business or investing in a franchise, it is going to be easy, and the truth is, it's not. It will be hard work, and you have to prepare yourself, prepare your family for that hard work.
Yeah, and they were very supportive.
Excellent. So if you had to do it all over again, would you do the same thing?
I one thing differently. Because I've had 50 years, over 50 years in the workforce, I would have started 10 years earlier. If I had known about it, I would have started 10 years earlier.
Great advice.
Yeah,
If I
and
had
then I
known
would have,
about it.
yeah, then I would have continued to grow the business. Right now, at this stage, I'm there to retain my clients primarily to help other people, and that's one of the drivers was to help other people. So I'm always looking out how to help other people. I would have started 10 years earlier and made it more of a professional business versus a purely lifestyle business, which it was from my decision.
Sure. Okay, excellent. So what type of advice would you give to anybody looking at starting a business or buying a franchise at this point?
Do a lot of diligence. Number one, diligence. Understand what the business is, what support you get, does it fit your lifestyle, do you have the mental approach to know that you have to work really hard at that, long hours, whatever it is in that franchise. So I spent basically 3 months in doing diligence. Do you have to spend that much? Maybe not. But certainly spend a couple of months, look at different opportunities to make sure that the one you choose is the right one for you, that you have the right financial resources to do it, and it's something that you and your family will support you to work very hard at to get it off the ground.
Excellent. And you've alluded to this, and I've said this too, that it's so very important to understand ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
As the first step. I mean, you understood yourself to be very disciplined.
Yes.
Being disciplined, being able to set goals, being
Yep.
able to meet those goals is so critical in business. But really to understand oneself is the number one step.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. So you've written a book,
Yes.
and it's been the number one bestseller on Amazon.
Yes.
What propelled you to write that book?
I'd reached that stage in life where I felt I needed to document my life, my thinking, my thoughts, motivations for my family. 4 kids and grandchildren, great-grandchild. I wanted to do something that they could get a better understanding because they're spread all over. And so we get to see them occasionally. And so that was number one. Number two, I do have a number of trademark and proprietary business tools that I use. So I decided to disclose those for other business people that might like to learn from that. And the third thing was I decided I wanted to dedicate it to my wife. She'd been a critical part of everything I've done. And so I dedicated and gave it to her as her 50th wedding anniversary gift from me.
Nice present.
So that was that. But the fundamental part of the book was to help others learn more about what I've done, but importantly, what could they learn themselves from maybe what I've done or some of my experiences that could help them.
Best practices.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I appreciate this, and I would suggest that franchising, I think, is a fantastic industry as long as it's the right thing for you. You're willing to be disciplined, you're willing to put the work into it. I think it's a great opportunity, and there are so many different types of franchises. I'm in one which I truly enjoy and suits me. There've got to be many out there that whoever you are is probably one which could really help you.
Excellent. Good advice. Thank you, Iain. And Iain and I are here at the Middleton Chamber of Commerce in their conference room. So thank you, Middleton Chamber of Commerce, and have a great day.
Good. Thank you very much, Audrey. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Helen, to go. 13 minutes.